One of the things is, in my position as a trainer, I tend to help a lot of customers. So this was a bit of a challenge for me to come up with somebody specific, and so I just really would like to talk about somebody that I helped recently. So I have a customer in Colorado as an example who took over a pawn shop. This was a PawnMaster shop that has been using PawnMaster for several years, but this particular customer wasn't familiar with PawnMaster. He'd just known about pawn shops in general, had a little bit of pawn shop experience himself. You know, he'd heard about us, knew that we were big in the business, and he was kind of excited about taking over a shop that had that because he knew that we would have all the information he was looking for. So one of the things that he contacted us for was because he wanted to know what the reports represent. What is he looking at? What's his situation? What did he buy into? So in this particular case, he bought a shop that was struggling. They're challenging. There's probably a reason that the previous owner sold it. So he wanted to get a handle on what did he have in the shop, what's missing, what does he actually have, what is his actual loan balance, how much revenue is he going to be able to expect to come in. He needs to pay his bills and pay his staff and so forth. He needs to know what his total sales are and what his profit margin are. So we went over several reports and helped him to dig into these numbers. One of the reports that we delved into really quickly was the management dashboard report. I went over all the various sub-reports that are being summarized in that report. Then we went into the shop statistics report. And the great thing about using an existing shop is we have statistics to work with. In other words, the shop had more than 6 months worth of data. So knowing that we had enough data to work with, we were able to determine that his redemption rate was less than 60%, and that his loan balance was under $20,000, and that his customers weren't paying on time, that typically his average customer was paying more than 30 days late. So now that he knows where he stands, he knows he has goals that he can set, he knows that he needs to get his redemption rate up, he's able to determine that in order to get his redemption rate up, he needs to contact his customers. Whether he's going to do follow-up phone calls, or text messaging, or email, he's still exploring those options. With text messaging, that alerts those customers that their payments are going to be due. So instead of being 30 days behind, hopefully they're going to pay their payments either on time or within a few days of it being due. It's also going to remind those customers that forgot about their loan that they have an item that they're about to lose. So hopefully bring up the redemption rate as well. So we can see those numbers, and typically in a shop like this, I would expect to see about a 10% increase in redemption rate with text messaging. It's one of those products that it's self-evident. Once you start using it, it pays for itself. It's evident that it's working. Using his data, again, remoted into his computer, we're able to look at the reports together, explain what these numbers represent, and how he might work to improve them. The other area he was really interested in is his sales, because he added an FFL, or the ability to do firearms. He's hoping to bring in a whole new clientele. And because he's doing firearms, he wants to be able to sell accessories to go with them, such as holsters and targets and ammunition. So he was very excited to learn that he was able to sell those items using a UPC, or barcode, that the manufacturer had applied, rather than have to label every item. Now there is a qualifier here. He is doing ID scanning, but he's not using the PawnMaster barcode ID scanner. He's using our scan shell because he needs to capture a picture of his IDs. So he was able to save some money not having to buy a barcode gun that reads IDs. He's able to use a standard 1D barcode gun in order to read standard barcodes. We talked about some of the options that he would have, and again, one of the things is he's doing firearms. But right now, he has some modules that wouldn't be appropriate for him. But we do have modules around firearms, we have modules around, like I said, ID scanning, the text messaging. If he expands into an online arena, which at some point he probably should if he grows his business enough, we have modules around that. So there's plenty of opportunity for him to grow his business and then improve or add functionality to his software. Anyone who has PawnMaster, if they don't have a really strong handle on their reports, talk to their sales rep. Arrange for some time with the training department and learn your reports. There's lots of reports we can go over. If they have specific questions, write them down. Otherwise, when we start doing training, we forget what we wanted to ask, and we get so involved in the training that we end the training session and we're like, oh, I forgot to ask them about this, this, and this. I don't want that to happen with any customer. I want to be able to address their needs. So make notes and then schedule a time for some training if needed.